Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure to be here at OPEX MENA 2022. My name's Stuart Douglas. I'm the Vice President of Sales for MENA region for Viveo Technologies. Today, we're going to show you Viveo's operational excellence platform for field operations. Moving forward, to give you a brief introduction on Viveo before I pass over to my colleague. Viveo is a deep technology company exploiting its patented technology enhanced reality. We help companies in the oil and gas, petrochemical and manufacturing industries. We are a global based company working with some of the world's largest oil and gas, petrochemical and manufacturing companies. As I say, Viveo is plugged into the operational excellence and business excellence components of an organisation. And Jaime, my colleague, who's the joint CEO and co-founder of Viveo, is going to take you through a solution tour today and give you a little bit more deep knowledge of what Viveo can do to help your organisations. Thank you, and I'll pass over to Jaime.
Okay, so thank you, Stuart, for the intro. Really nice to be here and be able to share what we are bringing to the industry. Now, this is what you're seeing in the slide is a simplification of our industry, right? But at the end of the day, we think it illustrates very well the problem that we want to bring attention to, which is we have an industry that is really heavy on assets, right? That execute processes, but are run by people, are run by the frontline workers, which, by the way, will never go away. We will always have people in the field, right? Now, these people interact with the assets in what we call operations, and they usually operate following certain procedures, right? Certain standard operating procedures. Now, what we kind of see is that, hey, there is a lot of investment done in the asset side to extend the life cycle of the asset. But what about the other side of the equation? What are we doing for our people that are running the assets? Because let's be honest, I mean, just putting in their hands a PDF is not, let's say, enhancing or making their job easier, right? And this is what we are bringing to the industry, which is a platform that is enabling frontline workers to do their job in a more reliable and productive way for basically the P&L of the plant. So quickly, let me jump into our demo so you understand which is the nature of our product. As I mentioned before, and Stuart mentioned, we have an operational excellence platform, and the first step that we take to create the platform is create what we call a digital replica using our proprietary technology called enhanced reality. Now, what is this about? And by the way, as we are doing this event virtually, maybe you will see a little bit of lag because I'm doing this real life. So please bear in mind that in reality it's completely smooth what you're going to see. Now, so here you see that there is a white line showing up. This is because I'm clicking my mouse. Now, when I drag my mouse forward, you will see that I kind of accelerate, and there is a moment that a transition happens, right? As you can see, I'm walking in this powerhouse, and I'm doing it in a complete free way, in such a way that I can make decisions where I want to go, where I want to stop. Here you can see there is even a crossroad, and I could say, hey, I want to go to the left, or just drag my mouse to the left and continue my journey. I can stop anywhere, I can look around, I can make a U-turn by double clicking my mouse. And this is let's say the magic of our technology, which is creating a photorealistic that you can traverse in a continuous way, which is basically bringing immersion to the user, to our field operators, that is critical for the simulators that we will see in a minute. Now, what are the things we have in the replica that are really useful? You see here a green box that when I click on it, I will get a detailed view of this component. Now, I can actually interact with it. I'm the one who is right now opening and closing the valve. And this is common in our replica, which is whenever you see a green box, means that there is a component there that you can interact with it, and it will behave as in reality. Now, all these components are accessible by our components list, which is basically giving access to the field operator to all of them, and actually do even a predictive search in the sense of, hey, I'm a maintenance engineer, I have to go and do an intervention in 119, so instead of popping up the PNID and walking down the line or calling the SME, I can just go here, type in 119, and here we are. The system just brought me to the butterfly valve that is actually in the mezzanine level, as you can see in the map. So right now we are in between the two turbines next to the stairs. And this is very important. This is the nature of our technology, which is visualization. This is not intended for engineering purposes. This is about the field operator being able to find himself in the asset and not being dependent of an SME, of another operator. Now, another feature that we have in the replica that is very relevant is what we call the enhanced views. And this is a way of explaining how complex systems work from inside out. In the sense of, you see this manifold, perfectly well designed, everything is parallel, perpendicular, but from an operations perspective, this could be intimidating, precisely for that, because everything looks the same. So what we're doing is giving the option to the operator to, by clicking these buttons here, the X-ray mode and the flows, they can see what is going on inside the system. So here, let me show you what happens. I'm in the right-hand side of the screen, and I'm going to align the upper line with the downstream loop. So I can go here and say, okay, I'm going to open here this valve, open this bypass. Aha. So here I have been able to see how to connect the downstream loop with the upstream loop in a very simple manner, right? At the end of the day, as you can see, what we're doing is giving our operators the capability of understanding what's going on inside the system prior to doing any execution in the field. So we are, at the end of the day, bringing confidence to them. Now, this is very quickly, I have shown you the replica. Now, we move on, and our platform, again, is about covering all the bases of the field operator. So that means that the next is creating simulators of the standard operating procedures that we just saw before, right in the graph. This is the nature of the work that the operators do in the field, which is execute procedures. So what we do is create simulators for each of them. So here we have 5 different SOPs, and for all of them we create 5 different modules. The first 4 basically aimed at training and qualification of the people, and the last module aimed at execution in the field. So very quickly, let me show you how the guided module looks like. As you can see, we have the replica here on the right hand side, and here on the left hand side we have the SOP itself, everything related to the SOP, the document and the checklist. So the system is guiding me. So he's telling me, hey, first of all, you need to close this valve. Okay, so I go and do it. I close it. The system acknowledges that I have done it, and he tells me to click check. Okay, great, do it. So now he moves me to step number 2. And here is a hidden valve behind that line. And here pops up something really relevant, which is what we call the knowledge snippets. This is a way of capturing tribal knowledge. This is a way of taking the knowledge of the expertise of your senior people and putting it in a place that is relevant to the operations, in the sense of, hey, understanding or knowing that this valve is always open because it's very difficult to access it is always relevant to this particular SOP in this particular action. And this is what the knowledge snippet is doing, is enabling the organization to capture the tribal knowledge and make it kind of owned by the company and shared in a standard way with the rest of the organization. Now, so as you saw, I just did the second step, took me to the third step. So this is kind of very quickly the guided. Now, imagine that now you're a field operator and you say, hey, I've been doing this guided module for the last 10 times. I feel that I know what I have to do. Okay, great. So go to the test. And this is what we have here, the test module. Now, as you can see, nothing moves. There is no aid. This is like the real thing. You have the checklist and the SOP, and you have to prove that you know what you're doing. So let me show you very quickly what happens when you do the first step correctly. So I know this is the first component. I click check, and the system tells me, yep, you did it correctly. Excellent. Let me show you what happens when you make a mistake. So here I could get confused. This is the second instrument. Another system is telling me, nope, you made a mistake. As you can see, you manipulated another instrument, 905, and now the test is giving us a couple of options. One is to continue the test as such, review this action, as you can see in the red box, this action in the guided exercise, or actually try it again. So, and this is what I'm going to do. Try it again. So when I click, as you can see, everything resets. And now let me show you what happens when I do it correctly. This was the one that is hidden, it's already open. So here we are. When I click check, and now the system tells me, yep, you did it correctly. But if you read carefully, you will see that it says 2 attempts is what it took you. And this is because we are recording everything in the background. And all this data is collected in a data format and made available to the organization, to our customer. And we collect the data related to the execution, and in particular with the mistakes that the people have made in the field. Why is that? Because all this data is fed into our platform, made, as I said before, to our customer. I'm not going to go into detail, but I just want to show you one sneak preview of one thing, which is with all that data, we can build what we call the competency level of your shift or your crew of people with respect to a particular SOP. And as you can see, here we have an example of, hey, a big crew of people that know what they're doing, but here we have a set of people that haven't made the cut, let's put it that way. But they haven't made a cut not because they don't know everything, they don't know something in particular. And this is where the data becomes relevant. Thanks to us collecting this data, we know where the people fail their knowledge, and we can actually tailor the training and enhance their training with that particular respect. Now, this has been very quickly, so now let me go back and show you the benefits of that our customers are gathering with this platform. 4 success cases. So where are our customers realizing value? Basically around 4 points. Speeding up onboarding of new people, increasing the yield of their plants via increasing the productivity of the workforce, or said in a different way, reducing errors in the field, reduction of an environmental impact, and actually optimizing the turnaround execution. Very quickly, speeding up onboarding. Here you have some data. I'm not going to go through it, just to highlight one thing, which is we see on and on through different customers that we are cutting by half the time required to train new operators, which at the end of the day reflects in 2 basic points, which is you free up time of your SME, so he can do the actual work, and also it's reflected that you are giving the freedom to your new operators to train at their own pace, not relying on a physical SME, but a 24/7 digital SME available in the computer, in the tablet, in the field, wherever they need it. Okay. Another saving related to workforce productivity. Again, as we are seeing, some people are retiring. The senior baby boomers generations are retiring. The knowledge is going through the door, and we are seeing that because of these, mistakes are being made in the field because people are not proficient at executing particular SOPs. And here's where we are seeing that thanks to our capability of building this competency chart prior to the execution as a task, and then having the people, the operators, take with their tablets the SOPs itself, the field execution module that we haven't seen. But anyways, just bear in mind that we have a module to use in the field. People don't make mistakes. Okay. third factor, again, this is related to, instead of affecting the yield of the plant because of an error, this is when you have an environmental spill, something that could affect the environment, and then you have to notify the regulatory agencies, and fines could be brought into the table. And the last thing that we are seeing is we are also optimizing the execution of turnarounds and maintenance activity. Why? Because the operators and the millwrights and the maintenance people can train, can rehearse what they have to do prior to getting into the shop, dismantling everything and then putting it back together. They are they are able to kind of get acquainted with everything prior to executing. And with this, thanks again for your time. And I think it's the moment to open it to any question that the audience might have. Thank you very much.